Welcome back to More Than. I'm your host, Kevin Carroll, powered by First Tech Federal Credit Union. We've got an amazing episode. How sweet it is. That's what's happening today, episode 2, More Than. I can't wait for you all to meet Brian and Pilar Voker, and they're going to share with you their Candy Crush. How sweet it is, PDX. So listen, first of all, folks should know you are above me in the building here, right? In Northeast Hollywood district, right? Of PDX, of the Rose City of Stumptown. And you don't know this story though, Brian. I was fixing to let you have it the first time I heard all that noise. Let's be real for a second.
I remember.
We go into this conversation. Because I know you heard somebody knock on your door with a little bit of gusto. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Because I'm getting ready to do a virtual keynote. I'm hearing all this thumping, right? I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even know you had moved in. It had been quiet there for months. So I come upstairs, right, with a level of like, I'm finna let these people know what's up. And I knock on the door, right? And Brian comes and you know he has that kind of like just really disarming energy, right? And so I'm like, hey, yo, listen, I'm downstairs below you. And he goes, oh, I'm so sorry. We're making brittle. I'm like, what did you just say? He said, we're making brittle, and when we're doing that, it's really loud. I'm so sorry. I'll try to let you know if we're doing it, but that's what I said, dude, it's all good. You can go on and make all the noise you want, because if you making candy, we are cool. That's how our connection got started. I just want to welcome you all to More Than, and this is such an exciting episode for me to share the amazing work you guys are doing. When did or how did your Candy Crush begin?
Ooh. When I was a little kid, really, my grandmother every Christmas would have a cookie party where family and friends would come and gather and make candy or cookies or sweet things, and everyone would just come together and have a good time, and kids would run around and eat too much sugar. And, you know, it was one of those things that I developed a love for sweet things because of my family.
What age were you, roughly?
Between 2, 3, 4 years old, when I remember being a kid at that party, running around the table, sneaking candy, sneaking fudge, doing things like that. But yeah, it's my family's always had a sweet tooth.
Do you remember the first time you got to actually join in the preparation or cooking of it?
Thanksgiving. I think it was when I got to start making pies and things with my mom. But yeah, I didn't start making candy until I was older and out of culinary school and had worked in restaurants and bakeries and just got a chance to learn how to make classic candy.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love that. And then Pilar, have you always also had this Candy Crush, or was it just a crush on Brian? I just want to know.
We actually met working at a bakery, so he was baking cookies, and that's where that started. But I have my own family memories of, you know, making sweet things and cookies, and my mom loves to bake. They always come out delicious, but they look nothing like they're supposed to.
She'll add a little of this and a little of that.
She's like, oh, well, it said I needed to do this, but I do this. And so still great products. And I remember making cookies with her as a young kid, and I've always held on to, you know, and
I love that.
We still do that. Every Thanksgiving that she's with us, we do a cookie competition with our kids, and she joins in, and it is hysterical.
I just love the fact that you all met around a mutual love of something. I think that's really powerful, right?
Yeah, and we also started watching, what was it, Ace of Cakes. It was a show about cake making, and then it kind of turned into, I would get really into the show and like I wanted to make a cake, but all of a sudden she put an application on my desk one day for culinary school because she was like, you need to do this. This is something like I see in you. And I filled it out. I got into the school, and next thing you know, I'm going through school, working in a restaurant at the same time. And I fell in love with the pastry work and everything else. And that's also something that I look back on now and go, oh, that she's the reason I'm here.
So listen, you know, the show is called More Than. So Pilar actually saw that you were more than what you were doing. I love that connection someone encouraging you. I think that's always important that we find someone who encourages us, who may be able to peek around the corner for our possibilities. And Pilar, I love that you lovingly shoved Brian towards his destiny, right? And little did he know, right? You was like, well, this the man I really want, so we gonna make sure you that man, right? For
She was grooming me.
Absolutely. So I love that origin story. So what was the spark to start your own business?
We were at a crossroads in life. We had just had our 4th child. Brian's dad had passed away, and this all happened in a short period of time. And
I lost my job.
And Brian lost his job, and he was not working in
It was
pastry.
an office job.
Yeah.
I was at a desk. I was just plugging away, trying to, provide, a life for my kids. And it's what I thought I needed to do to be successful, is get this job and have this steady 9-to-5 job in order to, pay the rent, pay the bills.
Be successful.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. You were falling into a caricature, right? Like this whole kind of equation that everybody said you needed to do. I love that. And so then what happened?
So he lost his job, and then
Literally, I was in the car.
He called me. I had just dropped off our kids at school, and he's like, I was, laid off. I don't know what to do. And in my mind, it had already been like playing, like, what are we gonna do? We have 4 kids. What's the plan? And immediately I was like, well, we just need to start our own business. Like, this is what needs to happen. You have a talent. You need to share that with people.
We can't wait till we're older to open a little candy shop,
Yeah.
on an island somewhere and retire.
How many years ago was that?
2017.
So that was
Oh,
4,
stop.
we're going on 4 years.
Yeah.
And haven't looked back, right? And haven't looked back. And I think there's something really important about when we make these decisions, right, to raise our game, to find a way to chase our destiny, right, to find the thing that inspires us. I talk about having something that gets you out of bed in the morning and knowing why, right? And yes, it is enough to have your family, but you're not necessarily inspired by that job. But then you make this decision to launch your own business and to do this. So I know that's not always smooth and easy. So no, it's not,
No.
right? I know. So share with us a bit of that journey. Like, what were one of the first challenges that you faced when you decided that you were going to start your small business?
The first challenge was, how do we go about registering our business, getting something off the ground? I didn't have any products yet, so it was trying to develop that and launch it before the holidays, we were already in the holidays.
So you basically launched it in the fall of 2017.
Yes.
Holidays were coming, so you knew there was an opportunity there.
Yes.
Right, to get off the ground, right, with a little bit of visibility around that, because folks buy candy and stuff during the holidays.
Exactly.
So as you're starting to see this reality, how did you actually get there? What was the catalyst for you guys to actually be able to put something on the shelf or to offer something on a website?
So we actually went through the Portland Mercado. They have a business development boot camp. We had just missed the boot camp, but we reached out to them and we were able to set up a meeting with a business advisor. Shout out to
Chris Bailey. Shout out Chris Bailey.
And
That's what's
he
up.
sat down with us and was like, okay, this is what you need. You're going to need to get your ODA license. You're going to need to
Liability
do,
insurance.
all these things. And it was so helpful. And we actually started using their kitchen at the Portland Mercado because they have a kitchen available to the up-and-coming businesses.
That was the launch.
Yeah.
That was the launch.
And that's the hard part, is we didn't have anybody to rely on. So we needed to find either a way to start it or join a community of businesses that people like us who were either just up against something or just wanted to take a chance and start their own business. And so we immediately realized we could not do it alone at all. We needed to be around other people who knew what they were talking about and could help us, guide us down a road that we were blind.
Just the fact that you found a community of like-minded people who wanted to support you because they were going through the same thing too. So they were, in many ways, like unlocks and cheat codes for you as an accelerator, right? They helped you all get off the ground faster, and they were willing to share, hey, do's and don'ts from my journey. So that's actually a nice little lead in. If you were going to write a letter to your younger confectioner, right, in your life, what would you actually tell them if someone was trying to get started now, right? What would that letter say?
Find that group of people that you can rely on when you are doubting yourself, when you're doubting your products, when you're doubting how you can make it work. It really, I would tell my younger self to don't try to do it alone. Rely on people who know more than you do, because you don't know what you don't know.
But Pilar really liked that one. Pilar like, that's my man right there.
I stole it from her.
She stole it.
I love it.
I took it from my mentor, Lori Spencer. Who has helped us get through things. She sat me down one day and was like, Pilar, you don't know what you don't know. And it is true. You don't know these things, especially when you're going into new things. You don't know what to expect. Yeah. And so it's always a learning experience.
As I start to hear your story, and thank you so much for unpacking it the way you have. I think this is so valuable for folks to understand. If you're trying to launch something, if you're trying to raise your game, if you're trying to be better, if you're trying to chase your dream, you can't do it alone. So you start finding these people who can support you, who lovingly shove you towards your destiny, who are believers but also hold you accountable.
And they're honest with you. They'll tell you if something's not right or not working.
Yes.
That's the most critical part to me, is the honesty is really critical to have in these moments, because if you don't hear those things, you don't know what to change, you don't know what to kind of do to move forward.
And you have to be willing to listen to feedback,
Yes.
right? You have to be willing to listen to feedback and take that and then own it and then make the adjustments as necessary. Not necessarily that you have to follow everything they say, because it's your business, but you do want to be able to get that feedback. So I think that's fantastic. And as we start to think about now, you're at this like holiday season, 2017, you're getting ready to put out your first products. How do you decide what your first products are?
That's where kind of the basis for our business came in. The kind of our motto is, it's memories are the foundation of our recipes and everything that we do, because I didn't want to make something that everyone else just made. We are in an incredible food city where people are really good at what they do, but I wanted to set it apart. So we started to find, things about our past or our parents, grandparents, memories that were like, what can we make? And so I went back to the cookie party, and I went back to things that I would have as a kid, or we'd go on a road trip with my parents, and my dad would always get Rocky Road at the candy stores. So the Tom's Dark Chocolate Rocky Road was one of the first products we created, as well as our Gigi's Peanut Brittle Bites, which is named after my grandmother, who unfortunately just passed away in December. But she and, her father is, an inspiration for our logo. There's a lot of things that we just wanted to tie in.
So how did you come up with How Sweet It Is?
We didn't want to restrict what we do. Like, we didn't want to...
Confection company,
candy
company, cookie company.
Because we know what Brian is capable of, we didn't want to restrict to a certain thing. And How Sweet It Is, it's
kind of the last name we thought of, and it clicked.
Like, I was listening to Anita Baker, and in one of her songs, at the end, How Sweet It Is, the chorus, and I was like, subliminal.
You're pulling from some Anita Baker. For you young ones out there, if you don't know, Google it. How do you start to build on the different products?
The Bootcamp, really, that is where we kind of developed more of the business side of the business, not the products.
Oh, so you went to the Bootcamp the next year?
Yes.
Yes, and then they also had a farmer's market starting in the winter And so they asked us if we wanted to be a part of it. And of course, we dive headfirst into most of the things we do, because why not? And we said the only way we're going to learn is if we throw ourselves into the fire and just go for it. We'll learn as we go. And that's proven to be pretty successful for us, because you can't say no. You got to take the chances. And if you don't, then it's just going to pass by.
Courage, right? Having courage.
Yes.
And so once we got the taste of a farmer's market, that was it. I mean, we signed up for every market we could. We were working 5 a week in that first 6 months of really after the boot camp. I think markets started in April, and we signed up for 5. And we were only 6 months old at that point, and we just didn't care. We wanted to get
all in
on the ground. Yeah.
And it also helped with developing the products, because we could see immediately what people were into, if they reacted well to it.
Real-time focus group.
Yeah. And what we needed to change about our packaging, our, what would appeal to customers.
Yeah.
So it was really important for us to have that experience.
So you had like a living lab at the farmer's market, right? Where you could try things, give people samples, right? Be out there. I can see Pilar out there like, I got what you want. I got what you need. Come by our spot, right?
Exactly.
Right? And so, giving tastes out. Right?
And we also had our kids do that too. They were the ones at the markets who would go
well,
out and...
I got to meet one of your children, Isabella, and so I know she probably was charming folks in a big way. So I love that. So no, I can imagine that was great. So as you start to understand the market, start to understand more about your products, how do you come up with new products? I kind of now know that memories is something that's really important to you. So it's always going to have a reference to a memory, a person in your life, families, whatever. But then how do you actually come up with new products? How do you determine what the market is asking for, or what you want the market to learn about, or to engage in, or to taste something different? How do you do that?
Trial and error. Number one, just making products at the mercado or at home just to see what would work. We have a product called Not Your Average Graham Cracker. And it was like our 3rd product that we made, but I'd be up at, I think it was 2, 3 in the morning one night, and I finally baked off this last recipe. And I literally started dancing in the kitchen and doing my little candy maker dance because I was so happy.
Wait. There's a candy maker dance?
There's 2 different kinds of candy maker dance. Yes, but I ran and woke her up at like 2, 3 in the morning, and she almost punched me in the face and said, "I don't care, leave me alone, I'm going to bed." And so she said, "Tell me in the morning."
Mind you, our youngest was not even 6 months old at the time,
Yeah.
So you had good reason for being that way.
Yes.
You're already sleep deprived. while this man is like, what? I figured it out, and he's doing whatever the candy maker dance is for that one. Oh my gosh, that's so. There's 2 candy maker dances?
Well, one of them's when you get burned with sugar, and the other one's when you're happy and you're excited because you made something you really like.
I love that so much. That's so good. Our viewers should know I actually get to know when you're working because I can hear you.
Yes.
And so let's just say you're making some brittle, because I think I've experienced the breaking of the brittle.
Yes.
I have physically felt brittle getting broken, reverberating through my basement level, right, office space here in our building. But how long does it take you from start to finish to actually make a batch of brittle?
I'd say about 2 hours with the brittles, from start to finish, from when the kettle hits the flame to when it's broken up on the table and ready to package. It's about 2 hours, but sugar can be...
Temperamental?
Yeah, temperamental is a good word. Yeah, the weather can affect, if it's humid, if it's hot, if it's cold, it can take a little bit longer sometimes. It can take less time. So, I mean, in my kitchen, I don't have a clock. I never look at something as like, it's gonna take exactly, like baking. You know exactly how long something's gonna take. But with candy, sometimes it's just when the candy's done, it's done.
I didn't know you were doing some Bill Nye Science Guy stuff up there. I love that, but I love the fact that you were speaking about it with a level of respect and reverence too. Mm-hmm. Like the way you respect that process and sugar and the making of, you could hear it in your voice, your tone changed. And the fact that you've learned, and also I think sugar has taught you to respect it.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting for folks watching this. So 4 years.
Yeah.
And award-winning brittle. What's one is the name of the one that's the award-winning one?
The rosemary pecan brittle.
It's got rosemary in it, and some people might not expect rosemary in candy, but it's almost one of those things where you see it and you're like, rosemary? Oh, no thanks. That sounds kind of gross. But then you eat it and it changes people.
It does.
It's one of those products where you get that body reaction where your eyes close and...
I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys out there peddling confections out there, man. I love it. It changes people. You all have had a great level of success in such a short amount of time, 4 years. What's the future hold? What are some things that you guys are hoping?
Well, we're really excited because we just got into Tender Loving Empire, which has a store in the airport. And so that's something we're really excited about because that's a whole new market for us. And so we have 4 products in the airport right now, which is just something that we've really wanted for quite some time.
Congratulations on that. That's exciting. And is there expansion? Are you going to kind of keep it? What are some of the other plans?
We'd like to get into other markets. So we went from last year having to close our little retail shop that we had in Multnomah Village. So that was the one place you could get our products or online. And now...
It was a very high foot traffic kind of business. People would walk in, go to the food carts, and then come see us. But that stopped completely. And we went months without opening the store. And we just had to make a tough decision on do we stay or go a different route. And so we decided to try to go wholesale and get our stuff into stores. And so that's...
Get to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, the D2C, right? The D2C, right? That's that whole thing, direct to consumer.
So we want to keep expanding. So now we're in
36
stores across Oregon and Southwest Washington. I'd like to keep inching further into Washington and hopefully California as well because we have a lot of customers in
worldwide.
There you go.
Exactly.
West Coast first, then
well, we want to do
the
it.
rest.
We want to do it the right way. We've always kind of done things the slow and steady instead of like trying to just get into somewhere without realizing we're not ready.
You know, I was just jotting down something that just struck me is there's a saying, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. It needs to be audacious.
And we're scared all the time because it's just...
But that's what keeps you motivated, right? It keeps that sense of urgency, the importance of always raising your game. I think you stay invested in the things that you're truly invested in, right? And see that there's this wonderful North Star, this audacious BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal we're going after, but all the wins you'll have as you try to get to that. And I call them little wins, micro wins that you keep stacking. And think about this, you're only 4 years, your ability, right, to set in motion an idea and to activate it and to rally others around it and get these believers, but also people holding you accountable, to put in place all the right people, right? To have a great partnership, first you two, right? And then finding other great partners. You know, skinning your knees. Let's talk about one thing, all the success, but I know being a small business owner myself, there are times you skin your knees, right? There are times that things don't go quite right. How did you deal with a difficult moment, with adversity during this run that you've had? What was something that you learned about yourself when you had to deal with something difficult?
Being a small business owner is a roller coaster. You've got extreme highs and extreme lows. And when you get to those extreme lows where no one's buying your product, or you're turned down from a grocery store because they love the product, but
it's just not there yet.
They don't really like your packaging.
Yeah.
That's the choice, isn't it, right? Is that an obstacle or is that an opportunity, right? There's always going to be something that you're going to run up against. I mean, you can count on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's how do you respond to that? And I think what you all are demonstrating is that, no, we can find a way. There's got to be a way. And I think, listen, we'll figure it out because you guys have been figuring it out. And we can weather tough times. Everybody's been going through it right now, right? And we're going to take our thing from this one location in Multnomah Village. We're going to go direct to our consumers, right? And I know that wasn't easy.
Mm-mm. And it wasn't because we were set. We had just hit a good stride at the store. OMSI After Dark had just invited us for the first time to be a part of their events, which was a huge thing for us because we love OMSI and it's something our kids have they love going to. But that was heartbreaking when all that stopped for us because that's our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is this business. And when that stopped for me, I'm like, I didn't know what to do. Like for 2.5 years, 3 years into that, that's all I did. Make candy, go to events, go to markets, sell the product, hustle. And when it stops, you don't know what to do. Yeah. And so we took some time, actually, because we hadn't stopped working since we started the business. And we took time to be with our kids and just take a step back, reevaluate what we wanted to do. And so instead of looking at it as a bad thing, we kind of turned it around and said, let's spend time with our kids. My dad and her dad, who both of them are not here, would have said, you're not going to get this time again. You're never going to have this moment with your kids, this much time to pay attention to them, get to know them better. And so we did. And I think it really helped us at that point make that pivot to the direct-to-consumer.
There's power in the pause. That's what I kept saying during this time. There's power in the pause. And I think a lot of folks got a chance to establish new habits, reconnect with loved ones, deeper relationships, right? Greater personal strength. You got stronger during this time. And I just think that a lot of folks elevated, right? And I think that's what I've been so encouraged by. And I know that, we're getting ready to kind of wrap up our conversation here, but I know I place orders from time to time with you guys, right? And you've been so kind to actually hand deliver stuff to me. In fact, we've had some funny moments when you actually hear this little tap, tap, tap on the door and stuff. And I know that I just recently did an order with you, but I don't know if mine might be ready. But if you happen to have anything up there that maybe you'd like to drop by.
I don't know. We might have candy laying around somewhere.
Yeah, maybe there might be a little bit. How about you pop down to my space and we get a chance to kind of connect and stuff? I'd love to see you guys live IRL face to face, and we'll conclude our story that way. Is that cool?
Sounds good to me.
Great.
Awesome. So I'm looking forward to see you guys shortly.
All right.
Candy crew.
It's here.
Come on in. It's so good to see you all. Thank you so much. What do you got for me?
Got some Brittles and some Tom's Rocky Road.
It's all the good stuff. Yes, I so appreciate what you all represent, what you all are striving to do, but even more so, having this conversation really taught me something more about you. And you and I have had a lot of great conversations just in the doorway.
Exactly.
Right? We always tend to have them in the doorway. I love that your brand and your business, How Sweet It is based off of memories. Mm-hmm. And when you said that, that was so just endearing to me because I think about memories and the importance of that. And, I wear a hat because it's my grandfather. So I always have a hat on when I'm on stage. It's to honor him. And I always keep in my pocket 2 pictures, one of my grandmother and one of Miss Lane, my encourager. Okay. And so when you said memories, that really it reverberated in my soul. And I just love that you guys are honoring the memories of people. You're sharing those with other people, the recipes. I just think that's beautiful. And that's going to allow you all to always do it with love, right? Sweet love. I just want to thank you for just being tremendous, our second guest, but just you are dropping so many pearls and so many great insights that are going to help small business owners, our viewers, next generation of leaders, makers, doers, and dreamers. I want to end this episode. Yes, How Sweet It Is, episode 2, More Than. And I want you all to know that you can be more than also. If your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. And Brian and Pilar are such great examples of that. Keep going, keep raising your game, more than. Thank you so much, First Tech Federal Credit Union. Much love, peace and play, Godspeed.